Okay, so on this question, Hannah can paint a room in 12 hours. Destiny can paint the same room in 16 hours. How long does it take them for both Hannah and Destiny to paint the room if they work together? Now, when you first look at this, you kind of want to add, at least I do. And there, we clearly can't add 12 and 16. It can't be 28 hours. It can't be longer, right, for them working together. But there is something to add. If you're wanting to add, it's this. You're going to add 1/12. Well, here, let me put this. Let me just write the formula in general, and then we'll do it. Working together problems. I'll give you the formula, and then I'll give you the logical why afterwards. Let me just tell you the steps. So you go 1 over A plus 1 over B is 1 over together. When two people or computers or whatever are working together, you add up the fractions. That's what you have to add up. 1 over A plus 1 over B is 1. Now, why? If I was you, I'd be thinking, why, Mr. Why? Where'd the fractions come from? I'll do all that with you in a second. First off, let's just get the answer. And then I'll go back and tell you why that's actually the right thing to do. I'll appeal to you logically. But first off, let's just make it work. All right, so it's 1. So you just, the A and the B are just the 2 times, the 12 and 16. So I'm saying it's just going to be 1 over 12 plus 1 over 16 is 1 over together. What's together? We don't know. It's called X. That's what we're trying to figure out, right? It's how long it takes them together. So there's our equation. You just solve that for X and you'll get your answer. Now, how do we solve that for X? It's easier said than done. Yeah. So this is a rational, these are rationals, fractions with an equal sign, right? So how do we solve that kind of thing? Well, put in the wall of separation, left side, right side. Step number 1, we're going to multiply. You're going to multiply all the terms on the left and the right by the LCD over 1. Now, what is the LCD? The LCD is 1 of every item in the denom multiplied together. 1 of everything. So in other words, it's going to be 12 times 16 times X. Don't forget the X. He's there too. 12 times 16 times X. 12 times 16 times X. You see what I did there? I took every item in the denominator, 12, 16, and X. Don't forget X. He's under a bar too. He's in a denominator as well. And I multiplied by all 3 of them, every term by that over 1. I did the over 1 just to emphasize, you don't really need to show the over 1. But my point is it goes in the top, right? Now, there is a way to do this more elegantly. What I mean is you could find out what 12 and 16 go into, which turns out to be 48. That's technically the lowest common denominator, is actually 48x. 48 is the lowest number that 12 and 16 go into. So if you used 48x over 1, that would actually make the numbers come out a little cleaner. But I found in my years of teaching that that's hard for students to always do the work to figure out what the common denominator is. And really, it's easier to just go ahead and just use them both, and it'll all work out just fine. So that's my suggestion. Just use them both. But I want you to know, formally, we didn't really find the LCD. I'm technically calling it the LCD, and I'm technically wrong. The lowest common denominator would be 48x. But I'm just using any common denominator. I've just found it's easier for students over the years. So I'll just do that. All right, so what do you do now? Now, on to step number 2. We are going to cross cancel all denominators and multiply whatever's left over. Multiply the leftovers. You can read my scribbling there. scribbling. Multiply the leftovers. So I'm going to come in here and go, okay. 12 cancels 12, what's left over? 16x. 16 cancels 16, what's left over? 12x. X cancels x, what's left over? Whatever 12 times 16 is. Just use your calculator. I'm getting 192. These add up, 12x and 16x is at 28x. And last step to finish solving for x, divide by the 28. Boom, boom. And I'm getting, just use a decimal, I'm getting 6.857. Just give them 3 decimals, 2 or 3. I think they say 2. Give them 2 or 3. More is always fine. 6.857 hours. That's how many hours it will take them working together to get the room painted. And that answer seems reasonable, doesn't it? It should be something lower than 12, lower than 16, right? If they're working together, they should be lowering the time, right? So 6, just under 7 hours. That seems reasonable, doesn't it? Now, so that's how you solve it. There's the steps. So one more time, let me recap and then let me give you the why. Why is that true? So again, when you have a working together problem, you put 1 over A plus 1 over B as 1 over together. So 1 over 12 plus 1 over 16 is 1 over X. And then you got to, that's a rational, those are fractions with the equal sign. So you've got to find the LCD. What's the LCD? 1 of every item under the bar. So the 12, the 16, and the X, you put it top, over 1. Like that, LCD over 1. And then you cross cancel and bring down whatever's left over. Cross cancel, bring down whatever's left over. Cross cancel, bring down whatever's left over, and then just solve for X. Now let me talk about why. Why is that true? Why do you do fractions like that? Well, so this part's not necessary. The problem is solved, it's done. But I hope there's something in you that says, I want to know why. I want to know why. I want the reason. Why is that? Math is supposed to make sense. How does that make sense? Well, let me ask you this. If Hannah, let's go for the reason why. If Hannah can paint that room in 12 hours, if it takes Hannah 12 hours to paint that room, how much does she get done? What portion of the room does she get finished in 1 hour? What portion of the room does Hannah get done in 1 hour? If it's going to take her 12 hours to do the whole room, what portion does she get done in the first hour? Well, 1/12, right? Right? It's going to take somebody 12 hours to do something. Then in the first hour, they get 1/12 of it done, right? That's where this is coming from. That's the portion that Hannah gets done every hour. She gets 1/12 of the room done every hour, right? And what about the other person? What about Destiny? Well, it's going to take her, if she does it alone, all by her own self, it's going to take her 16 hours. So therefore, what portion does she get done every hour? 1/16 of the room. So every hour, Hannah gets 1/12 of the room done and Destiny gets 1/16 of the room done, right? That's the work they get done together in 1 hour, isn't it? See that? Okay, well, what's this 1 over X thing? Well, X, in the end, X is our final answer. It's how many hours they take together, right? So if X is how many hours they take together, suppose it came out to be something nice. I know 6.857, kind of ugly. What if it came out to be, I don't know, like 5 hours? What if it came out to be, X is 5? What would that mean? 5 hours together, working together takes them 5 hours. Well, then working together, if it was 5, how much would they get done in 1 hour? Well, 1/5. If it was 6 hours, how much would they get done together in 1 hour? 1/6. Well, it was X hours together. Well, then 1 over X. See the pattern? It's just 1 over whatever. That's how much you get done in 1 hour. See, that's how you change a total time to a rate. You see that? If something takes you 12 hours, then you get 1/12 of the job done every hour. If something takes you 16 hours, you get 1/16 of the job done every hour. If it takes them X hours together, then they get together 1 over X done every hour. So in other words, the part that Hannah gets done every hour plus the part that Destiny gets done every hour, it equals the part they get done together every hour, 1 over X. That's why that makes sense. Math should always make sense. And there we go. So you turn them into fractions. Then you add them up. That adds up the work done every hour by Hannah and Destiny to be the work done together every hour, 1 over X. And so there we go.